is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 63. My name is Mr. Procrastination. I dropped down to one video a week, and what day is it, Ben? What day? It's Saturday. What time is it? It's nighttime. I've had all week long to do a video, and I know what video I was gonna do. That never changed, and here I am Saturday night. I am Captain Procrastination. I have had a bunch of other stuff going on this week, so it took me a minute to get to this point. But we are here, and we are doing our once a week video for the winter season. Real quick, yeah, I got a little off track there. If you didn't mind hitting a like on this video, possibly subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and if you are new here, welcome. We talk about karts and parts and racing and all sorts of things, experiences that I've had, and makes things a little more relatable. We'll just go with that, and today's subject is going to be clones are fun. Okay, I had to go and make myself a list because I started to ramble on, and then things went. It was just this whole thing. Anyway, I made myself a list so I didn't get sidetracked. We're going to do this in segments, just so as you know. Okay, first things first, I want to thank Kyle Pease, Kelsey Pease, Mike Pease, the whole Motorworks crew. It was the first time I had really experienced a team scenario. Normally, you know, like many other UAS kind of guys, or girls, we go off to races. Usually we're by ourselves. Maybe we have, you know, one person to help us. I have a Walt, or, you know, occasionally a Tommy or something like that. But never have I been subject to the Motorworks team. So not only did I have Kyle and Kelsey helping me out, you know, just pointing me in the right direction. Mike was there with his knowledge and expertise, cleaning tires, prepping tires. Kelsey's boyfriend, a couple other gentlemen. I'm sorry, names are escaping me right now. But it really was. I had somebody change my oil. Of course, I don't know what I'm doing changing oil on clone because I've never run a clone before. But I had a gentleman change my oil, and I was just like, it was a really good feeling. It's like, man, I just kind of like a wheelman, aren't I? That's my job today, is to give feedback to them and tell them what the kart is doing. So if you didn't know, Motorworks produces clone engines. They build clone engines, and up until that, I didn't, you know, what's a good clone engine? You know, they're 13, 14 horsepower or whatever they are. There's definitely a difference. You can tell a quality built piece. Motorworks seems to do some really good work from what I saw. Everybody around, you know, of course it's a local track, and a lot of, you know, their engines are at that track and running, but they all seem to run really well. And Kyle and everybody else was kind of paying attention. How are they doing? How's your handling? How's the motor behaving? You know, they were on key. So if you're looking for some clone motors, you know, don't hesitate to, you know, give Kyle, Mike, a shout out and see what they can do for you for your clone needs. So I just, you know, how did this come about? I kind of referenced it in the last video. Was that Kyle had reached out? He saw my video. You know, I was thinking about clone racing. You know, is this experience I should get into, and would I even like it? Well, he wanted to provide that for me. He wanted me to just get in and experience what clone racing was about instead of struggling from the get-go. Now, you know, my base knowledge is there. I don't want to say I would have been a front runner if I had built my own stuff, put together a clone or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I wouldn't be starting from scratch because I know how to set up a kart and what it's kind of going to need. But it was nice to sit into something that was already kind of ready to go. You know, Kyle knew I was familiar with the Scythe chassis, knew that it works well for me. We're just changing the amount of horsepower that's on it, and that was pretty cool. And on that note, chassis differences. What did I feel? Now, it's horsepower related. So when I make changes to my Scythe with my Bama on it, so you're talking about, I don't know, numbers are not relative here. We'll say 70 horsepower. Same engine is 70 horsepower. The acceleration to deceleration are more violent on an open. I now have a point of reference to go to when I'm talking to you guys, you know, via the, you know, in the comments, or if you're shooting me DMs or whatever it is, when you're talking about things things are, and I won't even say slower, they're more meticulous. So when I make an adjustment to my scythe, I'm making it, the thing's tight, I need to free it up. I make a big change in order to make that big horsepower react to what I did. Now, I found that, we were making smaller adjustments on the clone side, very meticulous little things, like a half a pound of pressure makes a world of difference on this chassis and how it behaves. Kyle had the notion that because, when he scaled my cart, yes, he put extra weight in the cart, but he scaled it himself with some sheet lead to more, act like it was me. But when I actually got into the chassis, he thought that maybe because we didn't scale it at the track, that maybe it had a little too much left in it because I'm 205 compared to his 180 pounds. Even though he had his weight, closer with the sheet lead to what I weigh, proportionately, I was probably giving it a little too much left, and it made the chassis behave in a way that he wasn't used to. But I gotta say that, things, I'll get into tires here in a second, but things like tires, how much left is in it. Like if I'm, on my kart chassis with the open, if I'm running anywhere, say 58 or above, it usually increases my cross a little bit, but I usually run at 58 to 60, sometimes 61, depending on, what type of surface I'm going to, but really high left. I have a little, I'm fairly heavy, so I'm able to get my left side weight up there. Well, in a clone, that's a big deal. Like, normally, he might like it on the lighter side. He might like it, 58 or something like that. Well, just the weight of me is creating it, going to make it 58, 59, 60, somewhere in there. And that's really going to be quite crucial when it comes to a clone. Not only, horsepower, it's, it takes a little more oomph to get this weight up but the left side, the nose, everything, how your body is actually in the chassis, it really makes a huge difference comparative to in an open from my experience. Okay, tires. I don't know anything about his his tire program, but I wouldn't be giving out any secrets. But from what I had observed, again, we're doing comparisons here because now I have that, like I said, that point of reference. I would have been running Vega Yellows. This is a Burris track. They run Burris tires. All right, cool. So they're on either 11s or 33s. 11s seem to be the tire of choice for that night. So I would have been on super soft Vegas. Now, my super soft Vegas, I would have had 3 to 4 ounces internal. I would have been wiping from the outside, just getting these gumballs. Absolute gumballs. In reference to that, Burris tires, and at this particular track, they were talking about, do I give it 2 wipes? And I'm like, 2 wipes? I'm like, man, I would have wiped my Vegas like 4 times before we went out for the feature. Just trying to lock down the insane amount of horsepower I'm used to running. And then it kind of dawned on me, it's just like, you want the tire to bite. You want the tire to dig in and have that acceleration, have that grip through the corner because it is momentum racing. But you do not want to lock the cart down. Say if I had taken my Vegas off of my open, say I took them down with me and it wasn't a burst track, we could run whatever, and I ran my Vegas, there's a good chance that I had too much, or I would have had too much bite being the way I treat Vegas for that particular surface. I would have locked the cart down, it would have gotten in the corner, and that sensation of killing horsepower. You can tell when the tires are, or chassis for that matter, are working too well, that you're getting just that hair amount of tightness, and you can hear the motor draw down because it's only 14 horsepower. I never have that sensation at all in the open. I was like, whoa, what a drastic difference. Now, it's fun. I think it adds a challenge to it. And it's exciting to me. I don't know how else to say it. It's weird for me to say because I'm so used to so much horsepower and going fast. And the pinnacle of kart racing would be running UAS, running an open, run what you brung. But I get it. I get that you're honing your skills with tires, with chassis, with it, with these type of things, you're honing your skills to where you're feeling little bits of change instead of these, entire gobs of things. When you get out of shape in an open, you cross up, oh man, you get back to the throttle, you're able to collect it, and right down the straightaway you go again. And yes, you may have to try and reel in your competitors because you lost that amount. If you cross it up in a clone, you're in trouble, man. You are in trouble. Now, this was somewhat causing me a bit of problem because I was concentrating so hard on where my hands were. I'm physically fit. I go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. I lift weights. I do a little bit of cardio, all that good stuff. I'm in good physical condition. I can wheel an open cart. No problem. Not breathing that heavy after an open race. But if you hold your breath in the corners because you're concentrating on not moving your hands, turns out you get pretty tired. Your muscles need oxygen. And when you don't breathe, they don't get oxygen. So there's that. This whole experience was quite eye-opening to me. Now, I had a bunch of UAS guys, oh, you're going to hate the clone race, oh, it's all momentum, it's bumper tag and this and that. I thought that for the most part, the racing was fairly clean. Doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. I know that people use the bumper, they get each other out of the way. I got a little low on entry this time, and we kind of knocked sides with one of the guys. I didn't think that it was dirty. He obviously didn't say anything to me, so I don't know that he thought it was that dirty. Just that's clone racing, type of thing. But I didn't not find it exciting. I love new challenges. You go to the local amusement park. I like running those go-karts. I just like karts in general. So this was just, yes, it wasn't the raw horsepower that I'm used to. That we all love. If you're a UAS guy and you're watching this, we love it. Just snapping that throttle and holy smokes, just hold on for. It's a different sensation of speed. Momentum racing, you're still going pretty darn fast. You're just, how much you're lifting off the throttle, how much your hands turn. You can feel these little things. Like, I'm sure I slide my tires in an open, but I could feel when the rear end was starting to not even get loose, it was starting to slide a little bit. And I almost had, like I said before, I think I had a little too much left. It was shifting in the center of the corner. I'm like, whoa, I've never felt that. I can tell you that clone karts turn a heck of a lot better than opens do. And that's the horsepower again. I think you're on the extreme. Your extreme acceleration turns into extreme deceleration, which causes the kart to behave in different manners. Now, I think you can take what you learn from clone racing, and you're very precise with your movements. You know what does what. It gets shifted to a more extreme fashion, and I can see why Kyle has gotten much faster over these years. It's honestly getting, sometimes hard for me to keep up. Don't get me wrong. I can beat him from time to time, but I think his clone racing is making his open racing better. And I think he'll tell you just that too. So, I don't know what else to say about this, guys. I mean, I had a lot of fun. Like I said, the whole team aspect, I can't thank Kyle and Motorworks and Kelsey and everybody else. They were on it. They were looking at my tech. They were looking at RPMs. Do we need gear? Do we need this? Take cross out, put cross in. What do you think? Air pressures, debating back and forth. What do you think? His kart's going to need because I am a little bit heavier than them. I think if we took a little more weight off the kart, I could probably make the lower classes. Maybe. Honestly, I'll have to build a clone kart to experience that myself. How light can I get the thing to what classes I want to be into? I don't mind being in the 400 class, but I think that I could race in a 350 or 375 possibly. I'd be heavy in 350, but I think 375 is right about where my weight would be if I were to run that. It opens up a whole different avenue for me. Next year, the Grand National is going to be all the way in Tucson, Arizona. I'm going to want to watch it and everything, Dirt 360 TV and all that. I'm sure I'm probably going to run some open races this year, but the plan now, if I can procure a couple clone engines, just so I like to have backups because I'm rough on stuff. To be able to go to tracks like Champion, to be able to go to AMS and maybe here or there and go run with more guys. I love open racing. That's probably one of the other things but we're dwindled as numbers. We're a niche type of section of the karting industry. I think we're, horsepower wise, speed wise, we're at the pinnacle, but it's a very niche type of thing. And it was fun racing with other racers. So I'm really kind of looking forward to this. And plus, the tracks I spoke of, if I go and race around, my local neck of the woods, they're within an hour and a half of me. I get to be home on Saturday night instead of these big long trips. I love open racing. I love UAS racing. By no means am I quitting, but I think, I didn't go into this and then race and they're like, heck no, I'm not racing those slow things. Never in my day. I went, this is a challenge. This is something that I'm not great at, but I think I could be really good at. It's just going to take some of these, some of the stuff I try and teach you guys. It's going to take me honing my skill set to be even better than I am now to get fast at clone racing or, maybe Predator. I don't know. I'm assuming I can just flop one on and put the other one on and go race if it is in an extreme budget. Do they have those? Do they have a Predator class that's with current chassis? That'd be all right by me because I don't have anything that old. I think the oldest thing I got up there is like a 17. That's bent. Anyway, all right, guys. Before I trail off anymore, I really do appreciate you coming out to watch this video. Turning on the YouTube to watch this video. All in all, I had a great time. I can respect everybody that runs clone. I can respect everybody that runs a Predator. I know the clone guys like to pick on the Predator guys, but open guys pick on the clone guys like you're not going fast enough type of thing. But it's all relative. It's that speed, that competition is still there. It's just in a different element, and I'm really looking forward to testing my abilities to see if I'm as good as I think I can be. We'll see. I guess when I'm getting lapped, I'm going to find out real quick that, oh no, I missed that or missed this. Anyway, I really do appreciate every single one of you coming by as always, and thank you very much for stopping by. We'll catch you in the next video. Later.